All right, YouTube, I heard your guys' complaints, and so we are going to slow it down a little bit. I apologize if I moved a little fast. In the past, I was trying to get the content, get the tier list out there for you, but then everybody was like, hey, now the videos are too short. We want an hour-long video where you go more in depth on everything. So you know what? We're going to have a longer video where we go more in depth on everything. This is going to be unique swords. Unique swords. Maybe I should put that in text for you guys. Unique swords. Perfect. So now you guys know. So we're going to take a look at each one of these and we'll just kind of go through. And once again, when we're doing consideration of these things, we're going to be looking for the level requirement, the stats requirements, and the overall just kind of stats and usefulness, right? If it's something that's like, well, it could be a best in slot on one very particular build at a very specific time, some people are like, that should be S tier. That's probably not going to be S tier, okay? That's probably going to be in like a B tier, something like that, right? So anyways, let's go ahead and start with Blood Crescent. We have it's in a sword there, scimitar, which is very fast, only 21 dex. The damage is a little low, 3 to 9 to 10, so the ED doesn't matter much, but it does have open wounds, IAS. Lifesteal is actually massive, but you don't really get a lot of lifesteal out of it. 15 all res, 15 to life, and plus 4 to light radius. I feel like this one goes in the A to B tier. I'm either at a low A or a high B for Blood Crescent. I know all of the stats are really nice, but the problem is the damage is just so low that you're just not getting much damage from it. I would say low A, high B. It's something that if you walk around with it, like honestly, I put this on like a sorceress or anything like that when I'm running around, because then I don't have to worry about, it's like a little boost to resistances, a little bit of boost to life. Like, it's nice, But the damage is just so low. The open wounds chance is low. You can get a steal and get, higher open wounds, higher IAS right there. So I think it's a B for me. I think it's a B. It's not a C. It's better than a C because you can actually wear it very low, but you'll grow out of it very quickly. All right, let's go to the next one. Let's go to Rixot's Keen. It is a short sword, and it's one of the only swords or only weapons. There's only 4 that are very low that have chance for crushing blow. So that's very, very nice. Otherwise, the damage is okay, 9 to 14. The plus 5 minimum helps. Bonus attack rating is nice early. It doesn't really have a ton else going for it. It's not a weapon that I'm really using in a lot of... No, it's not S tier, you guys. It's not a weapon I'm using in a lot of cases, but I'm going to put it in the A tier, if I can find it. Where did it go? How can I not see? Oh, there it is. I'm going to put it in the A tier because it does have crushing blow. So you're not really going to use this weapon past like Act 1, maybe halfway through Act 2 of normal, except when you go and fight a boss. And then you're going to give it to the boss, or give it to yourself just to knock down the boss and everything. So Rixot's Keen is going to go there for me. Skewer of Krintis. It does have ITD. The damage is 7 to 19, which is okay. Required level 10, dexterity, it's not too high on requirements. You get a little extra damage, you get the ITD, you get the 10 strength dex, a little mana steal. It's okay. It's not bad. Once again, I would use this through Act 2 and maybe a little bit into Act 3 potentially. Not having any open wounds, not having anything like that kind of hurts it though. I'm at a high C to a low B for it. Because ITD doesn't really matter that much at this level. That's going to matter more when you start trying to really fight monsters above, that are much higher in level and defense and all of that stuff. So really not helping near as much in this case. I think we could put it in the C, high C, top of the C range. It's okay. You might use it for a level or two, but you'll grow out of it very quickly. Next up, we have Gleam Scythe. Also, I have to admit, this does seem like a better format. I'm not going to lie. Gleam Scythe has bigger damage, which is really nice. Obviously, it's a little bit higher level, so it has nice ED. It's got some cold damage and IAS, which is nice. Other than that, though, 30 to mana. I mean, you don't really care that much. So it's a little bit of a stat stick at 13, but by that point, you can make Malice. You can make a lot of better things. I think Gleam Scythe is an average C at best. It's one of the ones that you usually pick up and toss out. Once again, though, usable for a very short time. Griswold's Edge has okay damage as well. You have a little bit of IS, some attack rating. You have knockback, though, which is so annoying. And it's 48 strength required and level 17. Griswold's Edge goes in the D. It's just, you're not, it's just rarely have I ever put this on. So rare. Too high of requirements, level 17 for mediocre damage and only a fast attack speed. Just not quite enough there. And knockback just sucks. If you're like a Boazon, knockback is nice. If you're a melee character, it's just going to be so annoying. You're going to hate it. Hellplague, with the +2 fire skills, actually kind of juicy. It's actually not bad. So the damage is okay. It's not great. The requirements are definitely high. It's a longsword. Longsword requirements are pretty high. The ED, whatever. The +2 fire skills, added fire damage, added poison. These don't matter too much. Overall, it's okay. The thing that it's really nice about is if you're using a fire character and you want some safety, right? You don't want to run Leaf, but you want to run a sword with a shield so you can get like Ancient's Pledge or something. You can have this and still get your +2 to fire skills. I'm probably not really using this on a melee character very much. I mean, maybe like a Holy Fire Zealot. You could use it for a tiny bit if you really wanted, but you probably want to attack faster. But it does give you that right there. I'm going to put it in the B category for the off-case use point right there. Colwyn's Point. Decent damage. Requirements are insane, though, for that kind of damage. 1 to all skills. A little IS and hit recovery. Colwyn's Point goes in the D. It's terrible stats. It's a +1 skill, but you're not going to be rocking 71 strength this early on any character that's going to utilize it. It's just not a great sword. It's just not great overall. Speaking of not great, Shadowfang. Yeah, there's a lot of bad swords. Once again, this damage is pretty pitiful overall. It is level 12 required, so it's not terrible there. You get no IAS, though, which kind of sucks. So the damage is a little bit. The added cold damage, you know what? At level 12, that's a decent amount of cold damage. Everything else is pretty irrelevant. Life and Mana Steel at this level on 4 to 18 damage means nothing. You're going to gain like one back. So I think Shadowfang, because of the cold damage, gets a little bit. I'm going to put it in a high C. Yeah, a lot of early swords are pretty garbage. Because a lot of them go for this like early life steal, mana steal, all this stuff. And it just doesn't matter because you just steal nothing back early on. Here's Soulflay. Once again, a little bit of a, not terrible on the requirement at 19. But the damage is so low. Like 8 to 10 to 20 to 24 at level 19. And you get 5 all res. It's garbage. It's just, this is the worst so far in my opinion. It's not a good sword, you guys. It's really not. Could somebody's like, but you could make a charger and do a little bit of damage. But even then, you can just like put some gems in a sword and it's going to be better than this. Literally get any sword with a couple sockets, put some gems in it, and it's already twice the damage. Kinnamil's Owl. Require level 23. Requirements aren't too crazy for it. Damage is still kind of low right there. You get a little bit of this. You get some fire damage. And then the 6 to Holy Fire. Which, honestly, 6 to Holy Fire, you know, I've never utilized this. Because it's going to be a two-handed sword. Right? So you'd have to run two-hander. Yeah. I mean, it's what? A C? You're just doing like a two-handed Holy Fire charger, I guess. Bottom of C. You could totally convince me it's a D if you tried hard enough. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of C. I'm gonna put it at the top of D. All right, next up we have Black Tongue. Yeah, unique swords. When you drop a unique sword, you should just feel sad most of the time. They're very rarely are good. Level 26, 62 strength. Damage is not a lot there. You get a little bit of poison. But once again, at this point, you could just shove a couple perfect emeralds and you already have a better weapon than Black Tongue. This is a D for us. Where is it? Black Tongue. There it is. We'll put it in there. After this, we have Ripsaw. Another kind of big one. I actually don't mind Ripsaws. Level 26 is a little high, but if you have like a Barbarian, 16 to 18 to 42 to 45, you're going to have those stats by that point. Very fast attack speed for Assassin Paladin, fast for Barbarian. So it's missing some IAS, but the damage isn't terrible. You get plus 15 to max, 80% chance of open wounds. It's kind of nice. Ripsaw is potentially usable, low B. Dual wielding Ripsaws I think would be not fast, but okay. Continuing with the big sword in hand, we have the Patriarch. Similar idea, 29. These requirements are definitely a little high. 100 strengths, a little bit up there. 120 to 100 or 100 to 120 D, so you get that. 10 to strength. Nothing else really on it though. I'd rather have a Ripsaw. I'm going to put a Patriarch in the C because it still looks usable, but not as good. All right, let's move up to the exceptionals. No S tiers in our base there. And I really believe that. Even like Ripsaws, it's just not S tier enough. All right, Bloodletter though. Bloodletter, 31 to 97, level 30, and 25 strength required. See, this is what I'm saying. Compare like this to the Patriarch, which is level 29, 100 strength required, 60 dex for half of the damage. I know you're jumping up to an exceptional sword, but like, come on. I mean, it's just night and day. Adds 12 to 45 damage, some attack rating, some IAS, a little bit of lifesteal, which at this point is starting to maybe do a tiny bit. Not a ton, but a tiny bit. And then you can get plus to Whirlwind and plus to Sword Mastery, which honestly, 2 to 4 to Sword Mastery, even more. I love Bloodletter. I am putting Bloodletter in the S tier because Bloodletter just does it. It's an iconic item, and if you are playing this game and you find it, you can totally use this through most of Nightmare. You can last all of Nightmare with this weapon before you really feel the need to swap around. Great weapon. All right. Next we have Cold Steel. Also 31, 25, 52. Not bad. Damage is decent. 20 IAS, gets a big ED. 50% chance for Deadly Strike, which is really nice because that's a chance to do double damage. And slows target by 30%. As well as a blind. No, Jim. Not yet, at least. Just kind of mention it. Does Cold Steel go in A or S? Because this is also looking very much like this will last me through most of Nightmare. I think it's a little bit weaker. You don't get all the like plus to sword mastery and stuff, but the slow would honestly be really nice. I'm going to put it at top of A for now. It's a very, very good sword for its spot. Next up, we have Hexfire. See, now we're getting into the decent swords here. Plus 3 to fire skills. Now, the stats are a little high in some cases. 58, 58. It's not terrible. The damage is decent. 3 to fire skills. Ignore target defense. Now it actually starts to matter a little bit. Some fire res with the max. 35 to 40 damage is very nice. D tier? No, you guys are crazy. Look at this. You have solid damage. 3 fire skills. So I'm looking at Holy Fire Zealot right here. ITD. It's missing some of the other things. I think it's B plus or A minus. For sure. And once again, if you're a fire character, like a sorceress or a druid or whatever, assassin who's running fire skills, pop this on with a shield. It's like having a leaf. For that reason, I give it an A. Because it's usable on all characters. Also, you can make an enchant source and get your ITD from it if you really want it and whatever. But all right, now we get into a juicy, juicy Blade of Alibaba. Damage is not great. Requirements are a little mediocre, but you get 2.5 gold per level and +1 magic find per level with 2 open sockets. This is S tier right here because this is the cheapest, easiest magic finding sword in existence. This is the only thing that's worse than a 6-isted or better. Like the only thing, yeah, right below it, a 6-isted sword. It's the cheap man's version of that. Such a good weapon. Terrible for using to hit stuff, though. Slow attack speed and stuff. Don't use it for anything except having it for the magic find. Next up, we have Jinther's Rift. Level 37. Requirements are a little high for the Dimensional Blade. 26 to 32 to 70 to 87. Only fast attack speed. You do get some magic damage in IAS and a little bit of MDR. A decent amount of MDR. If it's ethereal, it's a little bit nicer. You can up it into a phase blade and the damage is okay. But overall, it's pretty lackluster. I think we're back down. Jinther's is going to take us out. I'm going to put it in the C tier. I'm just rarely using that. Next up, we have Head Striker, which is a very high. I know the stats are a little bit cut right now, but this is Deadly Strike. So it has a % chance for Deadly Strike, 1.5 per. So you actually get some really nice damage on this because you have 40 to 86 to 184 because you get max damage per level. You get ED. The requirements are, a little high, not terrible at 39. Fast attack speed's a little sad. You definitely would like it to be a little faster, but massive damage, massive IAS. That's really the only 2 things that this has, but it's a pretty big smacking stick, right? If your Deadly Strike is 100% or 80% and you have this max damage cranked up, you're going to be doing 300-400, and it looks cool as well. So I think A minus or B plus. I think it's a B. I think it's top B. I think top B for Head Striker for me. B plus. All right, let's go into the Plague Bearer. 35 to 150. You get ED, some nice damage add, which is nice. Requirements are a little high, 103.79. Definitely a little bit up there. 300 poison damage. Chance for poison nova on striking, level 4. And +5 to rabies. This is the rabies sword, but honestly, do rabies druids even really use it? I mean, I guess you would, maybe. It's probably C to D, honestly. It's pretty garbage. I'm saying top of D. Above Kinnamil's Owl. I'll put Colwyn's actually above that. All right. After this, we do have the Atlantean, which is actually interesting to look at. I feel like I consider it a lot. I don't know if I ever use it. The damage is not bad. The requirements are too high. I think that's why I never use it. 127.88 is pretty dang high for requirement purposes. ED is nice, +2 palette skills, some bonus, and then the stats, aren't terrible on it. 8, 12, 16 right there, all important ones. So overall, it's like not awful, not great. I think it goes in the C tier for me. Requirements are just too high. 127.88. By the time you get there, you're gonna want something better. It's powerful, but the requirements are way too up there. The Craint Vomir. This is the only weapon in the game, I believe, that has faster run walk on it. Big IAS, big damage on it, but I just don't know if it's enough. You do get 70 monster defense per hit. I didn't even realize it had damage reduce on it. I'm not going to lie. And the slows target. The more I look at this, the more I like it. I don't think I'm putting it on myself, but I think I'm putting it on an Act 5 mercenary for sure. Up at one time and shove it on a merc. I think it goes in the low B range. High C, low B. I think it's a C plus or B minus. I think it's B minus. I would actually consider using that. The damage, but like the requirements aren't bad at all. I think, yeah. The slows target by 35%, and the DR and the minus defense really sell me on it. Like damage is okay, but this is like, you're just going to weaken them, drop their defense, make it easier to hit every hit, slow them so they're doing garbage, and you get a little DR. You can have 2. I think it's nice. And that goes B for me. All right, the Bing Sees Wang. Bing's Wang. Requirements are very low. Required dexterity 14. I don't know why you even have a requirement that low. Does any character start with less than 15 dexterity in the game? How much does the source start with? 10? Or does she start with 15? No, she starts with high dexterity. Never mind. I don't think any character starts with... Yeah, no, she's got high dex. I don't think any character starts with this low of dex. Why is this a requirement? Requirements minus 30%. I guess that's why, but... Okay, because it's the Dacian Falx, and then the minus 30% is knocking it down from 20. Okay, that's what it was. That makes more sense. Overall, the damage is okay. Requirements are pretty low. ED is nice. Added cold damage is nice. Level 5% chance to cast level 3 Frozen Orb. Freezes target 20 to strength. I mean, it's usable very weakly. Normal attack speed, though. No IAS. I think this is a C. I think this goes around Jinther's. Low C there. B for having Wang in the name. Let's see. All right, the Vile Husk. So this has, once again, it's going to be a two-hander for the most part. Damage is okay. No IIS. Some okay damage there. The damage to undead and attack rating versus undead is all right. Poison damage, chance to cast amp. But I don't think it's A, you guys. Level 44, 104, 71. Yeah, the chance to cast amp is nice, but I think it's a B. I think it's a low B. Honestly, you can put it above the cranked. I guess the big thing is the damage to undead actually gets kind of insane. But it's only for undead. 7 to 742% chance or damage to undead. Yeah, Pindle Farmer. Low B. All right, Cloud Crack. It's gonna be our next bad boy here. This one actually needs a little bit more space. Cloud Crack again, Gothic Sword. Damages, okay again. Chance for Fist of the Heavens, worthless. Added lightning damage, not great. 10 to max light res, okay. Attacker takes damage, 2 to defensive and offensive auras. High Rex, worthless. D. In theory, it's okay. In use, pretty garbage. Toad's Flame. Has some nice added fire damage. The requirements are a little bit high. Enchant charges, though. I mean, it's just... you could use it for the enchant charges. Pretty much all that would happen. I'm going to put it at the bottom of C purely for its enchant. It's decent for 46? No. It's a two-hander. Only a barb's one-handing it, and the damage is pretty bad. All right, and lastly, we have Sword Guard here. 48, 85, 55. Not terrible. Damage is okay. Some decent two-handed damage, and the one-handed damage isn't bad. Plus defense per level, pretty meaningless, but whatever. Damage taken goes to mana. Requirements minus 50%, very helpful. All res, very nice. Hit recovery. Increased chance of blocking. So is it trying to claim to be a one-handed barbarian sword? Why would you have that on a sword that's only... I don't know what this sword is trying to do. It's a normal attack speed, though. I've always kind of liked sword guards, but the more I look at it, the more it's just a C. It's a C. Goes right next to the Wang. All right, let's move into the Hell, or the elite weapons. Swords. So the Jin Slayer, the damage is at level 65, not great. It is very fast attack speed. Requirements are a little high, but once again, you're level 65. Strength still a little high at that point. Big fire damage add. A little bit of mana steal. A little bit of lightning absorb. That's kind of weird. And a little bit of attack rating here. And it does have 1 to 2 sockets. So because of this, I think it's actually not bad. I want to go C plus or B minus, because with these sockets and this fire damage, you could definitely use it as a weapon to smack around a little bit. Anything that's not, or that's some other immunity. I think it goes low B. I think it goes low B for the Jin Slayer. Blood Moon. Has some decent damage on it. Requirements also a little bit high. 10 to 15 life stolen per hit. 50% chance open wounds. 7 to 13 life after each kill. Pretty weak, though. I think this just goes in the D. Just doesn't quite get stuff going fast enough for me to get excited about it. Now we have a classic, iconic item, the lightsaber. Ooh. Lightsaber with the nice little added damage, added magic damage, added lightning damage. This right here is going to allow you to fight a lot of immunities. Very fast attack speed is nice. It also has ignore target defense. And then a massive amount of lightning absorb. Lightsaber is great. and it's 58. The requirements aren't that high. Yeah, the dex is going to be a little high, but your strength is very low, which is nice. I like it. I think this is a sword you can get in hell and you can beat the game with. I think for this, it goes in the A. I don't think it's an S tier. Bloodletter is S because it's at the level, the requirements on it, everything is it's so good for, it's such a big boost. Bloodletter is that weapon where you're just waiting to find it because you're starting to run out of weapons, swords that do good damage, and then finally you find that and you're like, oh, thank God. Like, it feels so good, and then you can just crush through Nightmare. All right. Additionally, we have Azurath, the other brother, right there. One hand damage, also pretty decent. Required level 85, though. That is a rough part of it. Nice ED, IS is nice. Big magic damage, big cold damage, 1 all skills, 5/10 attributes, and you get Sanctuary aura when equipped. Low. I mean, I put it lowest A. I think lowest A is where it goes. It's too high of a level to be S tier for sure. 85 is way up there. All right. Next up, we have Frostwind. Damage. Low damage is pretty low, but it has a decent max on it there. Not bad. Big added cold damage, which is nice. Required level 70 is a little bit high. Freezes target. Plus 7 to 14 to Arctic Blast. Wow. Some cold absorb, which is honestly a little hard to find without your, like, I guess that in 25 IAS. C tier. C tier for that. Okay. After this, we have Flame Bellow. A lot of these swords have fire absorb, cold absorb, light absorb. It's really interesting. Damage is medium. Not great attack speed. It's okay. Some big added fire. Plus 3 to fire skills. Big Inferno. I mean, it's the same exact thing as the last weapon, just in fire form. I think they deserve to go right next to each other. You can go right next to it, but a little below because you're two-handed. C. And then Doombringer. Doombringer actually has some big damage because you get this 30 to 100 plus the massive added ED. 69 required level. Big strength requirement, though. 40% bonus to attack rating. 8% chance to cast level 3 weaken is interesting. Max life increased by 20%. And some lifestone per hit and indestructible. So if you get it ethereal. Actually nice. It's actually not bad. I kind of like it. And if you get it Eth, it's really nice. Is Doombringer going bottom of S tier for me? I mean, you know, if you remove rune words, because obviously rune words just destroy everything here. I think because it's level required 69, we can put it in the bottom of S. Otherwise, I'd put it in A. And lastly, the most iconic item in the game, one of, the Grandfather Colossus Blade. Decent damage. Only fast attack speed, but you get nice damage there. The big max damage on it, super helpful. 50 bonus attack rating, 80 to life, and 20 to all attributes. This was the weapon. It goes S tier because it used to be the king. Used to be the king. And that is all of the swords. All of the unique swords in the game. Remember, this is unique, not set, not rune words, just the unique swords. I hope you guys like that. Let me know in the comments below your thoughts. And I hope you guys enjoyed the new format where we run it through together and look at all of the stats, because I know that everybody on every single one of those videos complained that we did a worse way. So hopefully this is better. and you guys like it. Anyways, peace, YouTube. Don't forget to like, subscribe.